Hello my friends, I'm Rich Larson and I'm the IRC Tire Guy. Today we've got a rad episode that I think will answer any questions or curiosity that you've had about the 2020 Sherco 300 Factory 2-stroke. I've truly put this bike through the ringer, and this is our long-term review of the machine. As you may know, I made my move from the Austrian brands KTM and Husqvarna to the French Sherco in late 2019. Wayne Dickert from Sherco and Hard Enduro Outfitters offered me the ride and I couldn't pass it up. If you remember, we did a full comparison of my experience and thoughts in comparing these brands. If you didn't see that episode, the link is in the description below. Check it out. That was my initial review on the machine. If you remember, I actually rode the bike for only a few days, then immediately raced a 6-hour event at Red Bull Override in Texas. The fact that I was able to jump on the machine and ride as well as I did is a huge eye-opener into how rad this bike really is. But since then, we've absolutely hammered one machine for about 7 months, and I've learned so much about the pros and the cons of the Sherco. Now, I think I should mention I ride quite a bit more than the average guy. I'm on the bike 5 to 6 days a week, and these are in hard enduro situations. To me, that means not a lot of airflow and a lot of heat put into the engine. Extreme heat causes extreme wear, so it's safe to say I'm tough on bikes. That being said, the Sherco has proven itself to be very tough. I had no major mechanical issues on this machine. I've done no top end, no splitting of the case, no problems that have taken more than 30 minutes to diagnose and fix. Now, we have fixed a few small issues, and I'll get into those a little bit later. But for now, let's start with the full breakdown of this machine. I think I've proven the Sherco is super tough, but a lot of guys are buying this bike sight unseen. I think most people are curious on what are some of the major differences and what does the machine really feel like. A big thing I want to mention is it is a completely different machine. If you're thinking of switching from the popular Austrian brands KTM or Husqvarna to the French Sherco, try and clear your mind completely before you test it. If you come in expecting the feel of an Austrian bike, it will completely throw you off. It's a totally different machine. I compare the cockpit of the Sherco to feel more like a Japanese brand. It's almost a hybrid of the two, a modern Japanese bike mixed with the steel frame of the Austrian brands with the added balance and clearance of a trials bike. It makes sense this company started as a trials brand because the bike has flashes of that trials feeling, not only in the way it's balanced, but also in the power delivery. My favorite part of this bike is the engine. In my opinion, I've never rode a bike with so much low-end grunt. The ability to hold traction in technical situations is unreal, especially if it's slick. The longer I ride the bike, the better I think the power is suited for hard enduro. These are all things I've mentioned in my initial test of the machine, but have now been reinforced over a long term of owning the Sherco. I love the balance feeling of the bike. The engine is phenomenal for hard enduro specifically. The 36mm Cayenne is tried and true. The KYB suspension for me is dialed from factory. I just set my sag, soften the clickers, and hit the trails. Really, I love this bike. But what are some of the things that I think could be improved? No matter what product you use, there's always things that can be improved, whether we're talking bikes or tires. Every year, we get better and better products to test, and it's honest tests from the consumer that make the difference. That's why we see progression every single year. That being said, I have a list of things I think should be improved on the 2021 Sherco 300s. The biggest problem, in my opinion, is the stock clutch. In hard enduro specifically, I'm hard on the clutch. Some of the gnarly climbs I get into require a lot of slipping. The Sherco stock clutch tends to heat up and wear quickly. Now, I replaced the stock clutch plates with Recluse brand manual drop-in plates. That definitely made a big difference. And rumor has it, Recluse will be making a full manual replacement clutch kit that is supposed to be unreal compared to stock. I prefer not to run a auto clutch on my bike, so when Recluse does release a full manual kit for the Shercos, I'd be sure to get it. Now, Sherco had a small problem with the electrical coils on the 2020 models. I found that out when my bike suddenly started running weird. It took 5 minutes to replace and I was back on the trails. Sherco has updated the coil for 2021, and even most of the new 2020s you get also have that updated coil. On the 2020 models, in my opinion, the recommended jetting in the book is very rich. I've slowly leaned the bike out as the year has gone on. I prefer a rich bike on the bottom for a little extra grunt and the ability to hold traction a little better in those slick situations. But Sherco's stock jetting is a little too rich. Now, on to a few small things I've noticed. I'm not a huge fan of the bulky connected mapping switch, starter button / throttle tube. I tend to bump the mapping switch at times. I've also broken off the mapping switch as well as broken the starter button, which is a bit of a hassle, especially because the Sherco has no Kickstarter, although there are a lot of different replacement options. The catch for the seat is attached to the frame with rivets. These rivets tend to wear every time you sit down. I actually had to wire in the bracket originally because I didn't have a rivet gun, so make sure to pick up one of those. Loctite will be your friend on the 2020 models due to no counterbalancer. I have lost a few bolts. Now, the 2021 models will be counterbalanced, which a lot of guys are excited about. Honestly, I was used to the vibration in a day. It never really bothered me, but a smoother ride is always better. The fact is, I think these bikes are going to have some great success to come here in America. The more competition there is, the better the products are that we get to use. I hope you guys enjoyed the long-term breakdown of the Sherco, and if you're enjoying the channel, please make sure to like, comment, and subscribe, as well as follow us on Instagram at IRC Moto and my personal Instagram page at RichLarson511. And until next time, keep shredding.